That's where that was the moment of impact right there. The real estate market froze, the stock market dropped. But at that moment, everybody was freaking out. People were going, flippers, I gotta sell all my properties. People were freaking out. People thought nobody's gonna pay rent. We're all gonna die. The world's gonna come over. But then, guys, not everybody was freaking out. All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode. It's just me. I wanted to jump on here. Excited about this season. We got a lot of fun, great interviews. And unfortunately, these days, honestly, I just want to come on here and just, see what's going on, checking in. Obviously, you guys know I do a lot of content. I look at a lot of data. I follow a lot of people, talk to a lot of people, try to understand what's going on, break it down and give it to you guys. And hopefully a way that you can understand, and whether you're sharing it with clients or friends or in the industry or just want to listen. It's definitely a super, super challenging time for pretty much everybody in real estate. I mean, the people that are probably crushing it right now are the private money lenders, because this is their time to shine. When rates were low, it's not like they weren't there, but everybody's going to the banks and lenders and everybody's flushed with cash. And now, a lot of the banks and lenders are not lending. And so it's crazy. So I kind of wanted to, on this episode, just kind of, talk about where we are, I think, in the state of the economy. Everybody really in real estate, what we care about, one thing right now is interest rates, because interest rates definitely will make more deals happen. Hopefully get more listings, hopefully get more, I know it'll bring more buyers, which technically we don't need now, but it will give us more listings. Hopefully, we will get a lot more buyers, more opportunities for refinances, just to get the money moving and get the stuff flowing. And so for some of you that are listening to this that have not been in the industry long, if you're still here surviving, congratulations. But this is the tough part of the industry. And this is where, as you can see, when people interject in the economy and come in and manipulate things, when things go high and low, this is why it's not good. So I know a lot of you were crushing it and killing it, and rates were low and values were high and everybody's making all this money. But on the other side of that, there's always pain. So I always say, just a real estate market that kind of goes up and normal and has, let's say we got 30-year fixed rates. It'd be nice in the mid 4s to 5. You got some just, 5% growth. You got a good equilibrium of buyers and sellers. It's nothing too fancy schmancy, crazy low rates, crazy high rates. Nobody's making crazy equity returns on just buying a property and thinking they're geniuses, because that's what a lot of people thought is, I'm a genius. Oh, it's so easy. I can sell houses and do all this. And now they're like, holy smokes, this reality is a little crazy. And that's where we're at right now. So let's back the train up here real quick. Let's kind of go through what you guys have heard 1,000 times probably, but I want to go how we got here and talk about that, because I really want everybody on here, because really the question I get is, when do you think rates are going to come down? What do you think? And everybody wants to know that answer. And obviously, if I could tell you the exact answer, I'd write a book and you never hear from me again. But I can't give you an exact answer. We can together formulate an opinion on what we think, but we got to go back. So 2018, the market definitely was a healthy market. We had the right amount of inventory. You got the buyers. Rates were a little bit higher. Obviously, the rates started coming down, because if you guys didn't realize, in 2019, we thought in 2020, if we didn't have that thing called COVID, we're going to go into a recession. And so COVID came, and obviously everything was off the table. Nobody cared about a recession. At first, we cared about, were we all going to survive this crazy virus, flu, whatever you want to call it, right? And obviously in the beginning, it was very stressful, very crazy, the world shutting down, us being locked in. And at that moment of time, when we knew that, I went into fight mode. I don't know about you guys, but it's fight or flight. And it's a similar mode right now where you feel like you're back against the wall. You feel like a lot of things are against you in your industry. And, all of us were being attacked at that time. Our freedom, just to go outside, our freedom to go eat, our freedom to go do what we want. Some people literally got their businesses shut down. Some people literally said not a lot of people, millions and tens of millions of you said you can't work. And, and then I thought it was going to be a much harder landing crash, but obviously the government and the feds came in, not with a bazooka, but they dropped an atomic bomb of money. And that money kept coming for several years. And I think in the beginning when it came, it made sense because obviously they shut us down. Whether you agree with it or not, doesn't matter. We're just going through the fundamentals. They shut us down. They needed to give liquidity to the businesses, to the people, to keep the economy going. And they obviously knew going through that there was going to be damage. So now let's fast forward. So that's where that was the moment of impact right there. The real estate market froze, the stock market dropped. But at that moment, everybody was freaking out. People were going, flippers, I got to sell all my properties. People were freaking out. People thought nobody's going to pay rent. We're all going to die. The world's going to come over. But then, guys, not everybody was freaking out. There were people that are really, really smart that when their back's against the wall and everything, they were looking for the opportunity, right? They were looking, where is the opportunity? You've heard of Bill Ackman made that crazy trade. But then there's people that went and bought the stock market when it dropped, thinking it's going to come up right away. And they crushed it. There's people that didn't sell their properties and just said, screw it, I'm going to see what happens. And then they end up selling them in a crazy market. They crushed it. Crypto people crushed it. There's NFTs. There was so much opportunity after that. Why? Because there's so much money moving around. And that's what we have to understand is that when you're at the time of a crisis, a time of a moment, a time of an impact, and things are happening. And as we unwind this thing that we got into, and keep in mind, this goes back to really this moment that we're experiencing. Really started back in 2008 because we had low rates and the real estate market's been really good. And a lot of you in the real estate market made a lot of money. A lot of you in the real estate market got super rich. Some people became millionaires. Some people became billionaires. Yes, in this market. And also this market was good for people that are in tech or VC or raising money or just you name it, go down the list, right? Low rates benefited a lot of people that made a lot of money. And then now people wake up, they didn't own a house, they didn't have assets. And those people over the last 10 plus years, they lost, they got crushed and they're feeling it. And now they're dealing with high inflation. They don't have assets. They're getting crushed with rents, crushed with car payments, crushed with credit card debt, crushed with food, just getting hammered. Like they haven't got a break. And it was hard. They wanted to maybe buy a house in 2020, 21, 22. They didn't get to. They wanted to buy a house before that. They couldn't. So I know I'm missing many markets and sectors and all that, but you guys get the point. Like we're all having different conversations with ourselves now. I shouldn't have done this. I should have done that. I wish I had more money. I wish I hadn't bought this stupid house, this stupid car. I wish I would have saved more money. All those things are going through our head. But also a lot of people right now aren't feeling anything. If you're in the real estate market, you're in a recession or a depression. So there's a business owner right now that owns another business. They don't feel anything. They're good. They're killing it. So the tech market got crushed. The VC guys got crushed because of liquidity. So don't get me wrong. Everybody's experiencing some level of pain right now, but it's more people in real estate, it's more than others. So we're going through it. If we do have a recession next year, like us in the mortgage space, we always say we're probably out of a recession because I know if a recession comes, the 30-year fix is at 7.5% today as I shoot this podcast. Is not going to be at 7.5. It's not. It's going to be at 5, and which is a good rate. It's not crazy low. Crazy low is 2.5. Crazy low is 3.5. 5% is probably where we need to live, or in the high 4s for conventional rates. And that's really where we need to live. So my point of all this is that we were locked in our homes. People didn't have to make payments. They didn't go to work. We had all this pent up demand. Savings rate went to all-time low. Credit card debt got paid down. The consumer balance sheet, they've never been in a better position. Then rates go super low. Everybody gets to refi, lock in low rates. People still aren't making payments. They defer the student loan debt. And the government's handing out money left and right. Then we get to come out of our houses. We start going on vacations and doing all this fun stuff. enjoying life and going to restaurants and going to Vegas and, going to see shows and going to see our family and traveling the world and all this stuff. And while all this is going on, there's the Federal Reserve, and why I have to mention them is the government. They helped us out, but they also got us in this mess. And now in June of 2021, CPI went over 5%. And that right there should have been the first time the feds went, wait a second here, we really should look at this. And the feds thought it was going to be transitory. It was just not going to be forever. And inflation is transitory. But now that we can look back, what I don't think any of us, even the smartest people in the world, I don't think anybody realized is because we've never seen money handed out or printed or given out, helicopter money at this rate. So think of this. In 2008, when the housing market crashed and the economy crashed, they bailed out the banks. But what they did is they gave money to the banks to go lend to people. So when you get money from a bank or institution, whether it's business or personal, credit card, you have to qualify. You have to apply, right? This time, there's no qualifying, there's no applying, there's nothing. Just send the money to the business, send the money to the people. Don't make your anything. You don't have to make any payment. At the time during COVID, I remember if you called somebody, you said, I can't make the payment because of COVID. Nobody gave you shit. No company wanted to be the one that said, you can't do that. Like they just let it go. And so this thing went rampant. So now as I shoot this, it's November 7th that this recording is going on. I don't know when it's going to get released in a week or two or so. And here we are. It's November 7th of 2023. Interest rates have more than doubled. Credit card debt went from 700 billion to 1.2 trillion. Inflation has gone from 9% to below 4%. The jobs market is still strong. Housing, for some crazy reason, and we know why, has done really, really well because everybody's locked in on low rates. The stock market is still high, and the average person out there is feeling pain, but they're not in a recession, meaning they still have a job, their 401k looks good, they have equity in their house, that they have it. They're not in a recession, meaning that they got fired or their business is down. Most of the businesses out there are still surviving. They're not dealing if you're in real estate, you could be down 30, 50, 70, 80%, like no joke, people in real estate. Like that's how bad it is right now, depending on the sector. I mean, if you're in Los Angeles and you're trying to sell commercial real estate, you got rent control, the rates make no sense, and then you have a wealth tax. Those people up there that were the top of their game, their businesses could be down 70%. So maybe you have a business, you're listening to this, and knock it down 30, 50, 70%. How would you survive? That is what we're dealing with in our industry. There's just not enough transactions for everybody. So now we move forward here, and why we have to go back is we have to understand. So we printed a bunch of money, we locked in everybody at low rates, people took out crazy amounts of debt, corporate, everybody refied, people raised all this money to invest in companies, the tech industry bought all these companies, overvalued, all this stuff. Just money was flowing everywhere, okay? People didn't have to make payments. It was just a crazy, crazy time. And now we are all sitting here in 2023, and I'm talking to you majority about real estate and going, what is going on? What's going to happen in 2024? So let's talk about it. 2022 was the year of reckoning with rates, meaning the Fed realized we screwed up and we got to start raising rates. We had no idea they're going to jack rates. I don't know the timeline in my head, a year, 5%, but that's what they did. So now, as we sit here, 2022 is about taming inflation. 2023 was more like, is this working, right? And now we're here, and 2024 is going to be like, what damage was done, okay? So 2022 was the calm before the storm. 2023 was the hurricane that hit us, and 2024 is the aftermath. So as we sit here, we know that the consumer is just about out of money. And that's the one big thing we didn't know. We did not understand how much money people had and still have, because there's a lot of money in savings. Look, businesses got money, lines of credit, cash out refis, exit from companies. Just the list goes on. Everybody was in a really good position coming out of this because they locked in their debt, they had money, they're flush with cash, maybe made some investments, maybe sold Bitcoin at the right place, sold a stock, sold an NFT, sold a business, sold some jewelry, sold a car, sold some real estate, whatever it is, and they got the money. So now we sit here, people obviously have a lot more money. all the money that the government put up went basically out to the economy, and that economy, people spend it, and that goes up and trickles to the wealthy because the wealthy own all those companies. So the people that own all the big companies that you and I shop at and these people are getting wealthier and wealthier. The people who own assets got wealthier and wealthier, right? So 2024 is about how are we going to deal with the damage? Because right now we're dealing with the damage in real estate. The commercial sector is getting whacked. Office is getting just destroyed because obviously the work from home, that just killed everything. Obviously the governments that were not running their towns, their communities, big and small, they're having a lot of problems because whether it's too strict on rules or the politics weren't good or the policies, you're seeing who ran stuff great and who didn't, and you're seeing it. Like there's nothing to discuss. It's like you can see the recovery from where we live and where we're at in the US, who did well and who has not. And that's probably has a lot to do with policies that were too strict, policies that might not be business friendly, and policies that are not willing to deal with crime and things like that, right? Like that. So it doesn't matter. It's just the point is we all can see it. It doesn't matter if you agree with it or what, it doesn't matter. We're talking business here. This isn't emotional. This is business. So now this podcast is called Where's the Opportunity? So as I went back, as we got in 2008, as this thing hit, I remember sitting there going, what am I going to do? And that's when I met Crystal. I said, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay in real estate? Because at that time I was scared, I was broke, I didn't know what to do, I was young, I didn't know anything. But then I was realizing if I'm going to stay in this business, me sitting here complaining about it is not going to help anything. Where's the opportunity? So I immediately went out and found what the opportunity was in lending. That was the jumbo market because it all went away in a bank that used to be around Union Bank. Basically, it was like the only one doing jumbos. The people at Wells Fargo, Bank of America City, they just weren't really lending. And I had this opportunity, and I realized they were the lender, and all these people had rates adjusting or needed to refi or purchase. There was just an opportunity. I jumped on it. There's also another opportunity at that time with real estate investors that needed, banks weren't lending. They wanted to buy up all these houses and do refis and cash out rate term. There's an opportunity there. That helped us build the business. And for Crystal, the opportunity obviously was apartment people buying and renovating because rents was the first thing to go up coming out of that recession. So there was no opportunities there. And obviously there's many more. People were buying, house at the courthouse or buying apartments at the courthouse or buying notes or buying seconds and all stuff. There's so much opportunity. So right now, when I see in the market, and the opportunity in COVID was obviously, like I said, the stock market went down, and then it was people that knew that the government was going to hammer and print money. They knew this was going to be a crazy, more of a quick run, but just a blast, and people took advantage of it. So here we are in 2023, and now we're looking at 2024, and let's just talk about real estate. We have to look at ourselves and go, okay, so what's the opportunity? What is the opportunity moving forward? So before we can maybe look at the opportunity, let's just talk about where we're at with rates, because that is going to matter, right? For real estate, it's really going to, if rates come down a lot lower, it will help save a lot of properties. If not, it's just going to cause more destruction.
We've been working on this for the past few months.
We always want to bring as much value as we possibly can, and our partner, Prime Corporate Services, is all about bringing you a service you can't get anywhere else at a price you can't get anywhere else. Whether you're new to owning a business or owning a property, or you're an experienced property owner or investor, Prime Corporate Services is not only going to help you, but they're going to make the process so much easier. So if you book a call, the first thing they're going to do for you is help you understand what your business structure should look like, your corporate structure, tax planning, estate planning, all of that. Maybe you're saying, I'm brand new to starting a business and all this sounds foreign and complicated. Remember, this company helps new people just getting started every day. They're going to help you form the entity that's best for you and walk you through the process. Before I found this company, we paid thousands of dollars to other attorneys, CPAs, and consultants to try to understand exactly how we need to be structured to be as protected as possible. We've also gone the other route and used online platforms to form entities which unnecessarily put us at risk. You guys, you don't have to do that with this company. They'll do all of these things for you at a reasonable price, so you never have to think about saving money at the expense of exposing yourself to liability. We've searched high and low, and you will not find this much value anywhere else. All you have to do is schedule a free call today. Just go to primecorporateservices.info/GITCG. Once again, that's primecorporateservices.info/GITCG. We'll also leave the info for you in the show notes.
2023 November, as I said, we've got unemployment showing a little weakness. People are running out of money. Credit card debt's at all-time high. Businesses that got a business person that got, for example, maybe an SBA 7A loan. I'm using that one as an example. Their rates have doubled or tripled. Credit card, if you have credit card debt's high, it's at 30% or 30% the average rate. People are starting to default on their car loans. FHA, the people that just got these high FHA, they're starting to see first-time payment delinquencies high. Everybody's locked in these crazy low rates. They're not going anywhere. So we're seeing all-time low sales volume, and there's just no inventory, and people are not moving. We're seeing unaffordability at an all-time high. Nobody can afford anything, and people are scared because they can't make anything. But people have jobs. Their 401ks look good. Their stock account looks good. They got equity in their home. And that's why this thing is moving right now, I tell you guys. Because if the housing market was not like this, it would have crashed. And this would be over. This game would be over right now. I don't even care what anybody says, 100% would be over. That's where we're at. I know I might be missing things. So we're seeing the damage in the real estate market, residential, commercial. Residential, we're seeing unaffordability, trapped inventory, people can't afford, investment purchases don't make sense. So where's the opportunity? Commercial real estate, no deals really make sense because of the debt and what you buy them at. So you're probably buying a deal that's hopefully going to make sense in the future. And obviously people have a lot of floating debt coming due. So there's going to be that $1.5 trillion problem there. Then you have obviously corporate debt too that's coming due. So that's what's going on right now. The Fed, get a drink. So I'm going to wrap up here with what I think. I know I went through a lot of stuff, but we got to realize where we're at, guys, because if you don't know where you're at, how do you make a decision? How do we come up with a conclusion? Because so many people are watching the news and listening to this, but they're not looking at data. So if we look at the data, like I went through, we know credit card debt's all-time high. We know unemployment's starting to get shaky. We know inflation has come down. We know there's no inventory. We know that if rates come down, I'm just telling you, whatever anybody says, great. If rates come down, we're not going to get the inventory. We're going to have a shit ton of buyers come off the sidelines. We know if rates come down, it's going to save some commercial deals. It's going to save some business owners. It's going to save people's asses. Great. But what is going to make those rates come down? So we're entering Christmas and the holidays. So here's what I think is going to shake out and go down in some type of form or fashion. This is from me watching a lot of data, a lot of CEOs. You're seeing CEO after CEO. I'll give a few. Number one, Bank of America, 50 million, 40 million customers. He's noticing as of September, people are starting, obviously he knows the savings have come down, the credit card debt's high, but he's also knowing people's spending is coming down. Target CEO said this, obviously they've had 7 quarters of lower spending, okay, right, number one. Number two, this is the concerning thing, is that people are starting to cut back on what spending? No, not the TVs and all that crap. They're starting to cut back on food. The basics, essentials of food, they're starting to buy less food because that's what they can afford. The consumer's running out of breath. They're running out of money. So if they stop consuming, this will start affecting businesses that are going to have to cut costs and lay off jobs, which is going to affect jobs. So 2024, where's the opportunity? Well, number one, we need to see the data continue to go negative as we're seeing. We will start seeing the 10-year treasury move down with that. Number two, the Fed has two faces. They've been looking backwards because they wanted to make sure that there's no more damage. But when you start hearing all the Fed officials talk, you're not hearing the hawkish 5 months ago was, we're raising, it's too high, things are crazy, because they were not seeing this stuff crack. They are starting to see the cracks. So now they're having to look the other way. That's why it's called the two sides of the Fed. The other way, they're having to look forward to going, wait a second here. If this trend continues of slower job growth, less money, more credit card debt, more delinquency payments, and people start losing their jobs and the consumer slows down, they have to start going, what is the forward guidance? Like, we're going to be in a better or worse place in 6 months. We know it's worse unless something dramatically changes. Then we've got 2 wars. We've got election year. We've got, the country's just divided, just how it is. It's just a bunch of drama. We all know this stuff. It's not new. We know where we're living in. Things are super expensive. You go eat, you go to the store, you go anywhere. It's like, who the hell can afford all this stuff? It's out of control. Everybody feels a little bit like, I feel like I'm getting choked, right? So if the consumer slows and we keep on this trend, people think that we're going to have a recession and then the Fed's going to cut middle of next year. But what everybody thinks is the Fed is going to go too far. They went way too far with the low rates. They're probably going to go too far. The Fed always misses it, guys. They always do. They never get it right. They want a soft landing. The chances of a soft landing are slim to none. Even a Fed official came out today, I listened to, a big Fed official said, when inflation's dropped that fast prior in history, we've always had a nasty recession on the other side, like not a soft landing, a hard landing. So if we get the hard landing, it's job losses, rates go low, Fed pivots, and we go down that route. If we get a soft landing, the Fed's still going to pivot, rates will still come down, you just won't get the massive job losses. So where is the opportunity for us? Number one, the opportunity is if you've got a high rate, you're going to be able to refinance it and save money. Number two, I think a place like San Diego and wherever you are is just trapped inventory. So those of you that have the ability to go out and find, 1 to 4 unit property at a good deal in a place like a San Diego or all these other markets around the country, and the inventory is going to be tight and the buyers are going to come when the rates drop, you could you could flip properties and make money. And I'm not a big flipper, but like I said, I'm where the opportunity is. And like in 2008, when the houses were cheap, a lot of people went and bought houses. They did really well. But people are going to be looking for the opportunity. It's going to be hard with apartments if rates don't come down and cap rates. But people, that entry level house, wherever you are, if there is just not building, there's not the inventory, that to me is going to be the opportunity, is getting in and buying houses that are undervalued, fixing them up and selling them to a first time home buyer so they can come in and they win. That's going to be a huge opportunity. Listening to a podcast, I think Ricky Cruz was interviewing Grant Cardone. I might have been somebody else. I apologize. We're 5 million houses short, but Grant had a good point. We're 40 million houses short because a lot of these homes are crap. They're dilapidated. Nobody wants them. They need to be fixed up. A first-time home buyer to go in and rehab a property to spend $150,000, $200,000, they can't do that. They'd rather pay the premium, get the 5-10% down, get the loan they can afford, and just enjoy the house. Put the furniture and the pictures up, the TVs up, the dogs, the kids, just tab at it and you live in it. They don't want to go through this process. So there's millions and millions of homes that need to be fixed. That's why you need flippers. That's why you need all this stuff. So that is going to be the opportunity, I think. The other opportunity is going to be in commercial. You're going to see it in people that have to get out of deals because the debt's bad, or a builder couldn't finish a job, or they're going to convert some type of building into housing, or you're going to see office people get office deals at cheap deals. They're doing it right now in places like San Francisco, like pennies on the dollars, right? You're going to see those deals. In multifamily, you'll probably see syndicators or people that bought or didn't buy right or got the wrong debt. They're going to have to get bailed out and fire sale. So you are going to see that. Yes, you'll see an increase as we continue to foreclosures and short sales. It's not going to be like 08 or 9 because we didn't make all the debt and all that crap. So that's not going to happen. You're still going to have tight inventory. You're going to have a lot of buyers. But the opportunity is going to be more, where is finding a good value deal that you can add value and sell it. But it's also going to be tougher in commercial. A market like San Diego or LA or San Francisco or other markets around the country that deal with rent control and that just constant pressure of that, it's harder to do the value add deals. And so you want to get people out of these dilapidated properties and give a better experience for renters, but it's very hard with rent control and they won't allow us to do what we want to do. So I think for me, the clear picture is, I think if you're a flipper, if you're able to get in front of people and find those deals, it's going to be good. If you're a home buyer watching this, right now, our rates are high and people have to sell. It's mainly trustee sales, divorce, people moving, flight to cash. That's the sales. There's not much. This is the time to write an offer. This is it, because go look for the property that's pending or sitting on the market. Go get the deal. Go get the closing costs paid for. Get the 7.5% rate. It sucks. Have them pay for your closing costs, buy down the rate, temporary buy down, whatever it is. You would rather be refining when everybody's buying. So again, we have to step back. We have to look for the opportunities, but we have to know the data of what's going on to see those opportunities. Of course, there's going to be many, many more opportunities out there. I'm just trying to narrow it down. Like what I'm seeing is what I think people are going to focus on here in San Diego, like a market like here or other markets like this, is buying dilapidated homes, fixing them up and selling to first-time home buyers. That's going to be key. Buying properties, adding ADUs, maybe cutting those off and selling them, because you're going to be able to do that in 2024 with the new law coming out. that you're going to be able to like literally sell an ADU on your property. That's going to be another play. So adding values, creating housing, creating opportunities for people to come in and buy. That's what Fannie Mae wants. That's the government wants. That's the press you're getting, is helping those first-time home buyers, seeing those opportunities. That's where the money's going to flow. Money from Fannie and Freddie is going to really help the first-time home buyer. That's why you're seeing the 5% down coming out of the 2 to 4. That's why they might do FHA at 0% down. That's why you're going to see maybe start, financing manufactured homes. They're going to be more aggressive with ADUs. So you're going to see more and more of this, because the focus is letting the first-time home buyer win. Because in the last 10, 12 years, they, to everybody, it's all the people that have money, that have all the assets, about all the properties are winning. It's time for the first-time home buyer to win. And I think that's why I think focusing on, for here in San Diego, for example, $1.5 million down, that first-time home buyer, step-up buyer, somewhere in there. Sometimes first-time home buyers do come in here and buy $1.5 million property. They get help from their parents and stuff. That's what it's going to be, is parents are going to help out, bank of mom and dad, co-signers, couples buying, couples that aren't married, girlfriend, boyfriend buying places, or married couples buying. You're going to see those people come in and need those first-time home buyer homes. And honestly, I think those people, if they don't have experience, should buy a done house. You're going to pay a little bit more, but go live your life, do your job, enjoy your life. Don't get in over your head. Don't buy something you can't fix. It is a pain in the ass to remodel places, especially here in San Diego. But, guys, I just want to share that with you. That is one of the opportunities. That's kind of what I'm going to see, the opportunities. That's what I'm seeing, the opportunity for 2024. But really the big opportunity is studying and understand the data week over week, watching it move, not listening to the news and the Fed and all that. Because if you listen to all that shit, you're going to miss opportunities. You're going to get crushed. And if you're in the real estate business, it's hard right now. You got to work hard. Deals are tough. Deals are falling apart. Nobody wants to lend. Nobody wants to buy, sell. Nobody wants to refi. So it's affecting all the businesses. But you have to find the opportunity in today's market of how to help your clients, because people need help more than others. They want to buy deals. They need to get out of bad debt. They need to get cash out refi. They need to buy this property. They need our help. They need our expertise. So the people that are going to really thrive in this environment are the ones that have the experience, that have been through these kind of times, have the tools, have the teams, have the knowledge to get you through. So appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you listening to my little rant here, podcast, but hopefully you got some nuggets you can share with other people, forward this to somebody else. We'll have snippets and snippets of all this stuff, obviously online. But anyways, if you guys are not following me on social, please do. On Instagram, Kenny B. Simpson. If you're listening to this and you're not on my email list, DM me to get on my email list. I do a brief. I got great email content too as well. So if you're enjoying this, I appreciate it. But also, I would love a review. I would love you to like, comment, share, all that good stuff. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate the support. Talk to you guys soon.
If you're already a real estate investor, you know that aside from cash flow, you also get huge tax benefits by investing in real estate. But are you taking full advantage of all the potential tax benefits? We've been working with Tim Looney at CSSI for a few years now, and he's saved us and our clients hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars in taxes doing cost segregation studies on their properties. Let me give you a few examples. We bought a property in 2019. If we had just used straight line depreciation, we would have saved about $18,750 in taxes. But because we did a cost seg, we saved $258,000. That's $239,350 more than standard straight line depreciation in the first year. The other great thing is, if you're classified as a real estate professional, you can apply this to other sources of income like W-2 or 1099 income, and you can also roll over any unused depreciation to future years. If you've owned your properties for a few years already, don't worry, you can still do a cost seg and save big on your taxes. This is not tax advice, so consult your CPA to see if you qualify to take advantage of these benefits. Call or text him at 318-469-9861 to get your complimentary property analysis. Once again, that's 318-469-9861. And I'll also include his information in the show notes. You guys don't want to miss out on these tax savings.